So you're still determined to see Dr. Culver?
Yes. Honey, I read that he has helped more women get pregnant and deliver healthy babies than almost any other OB/GYN in the country.
Well, I'm not sure that we need help in the getting pregnant department.
Yeah, well, I will take any and all help I can get.
What if we put you on one of these new fertility drugs and we wind up with like 6 babies?
Yeah, well, would that really be so bad?
No. I've always dreamed of having a large family, actually.
Yeah, me too. I'm really looking forward to my appointment with Dr. Culver tomorrow. You know, not just for us, but I'm finally going to be able to get the chance to ask him about Beth Wallace. Honey, I know she's up to something.
Ms. Wallace!
Dr. Culver, what are you doing here?
This is a hospital, Beth. This is where I work when I'm not in my office.
Oh, of course. Well, listen, have a good evening, okay?
Not so fast, Beth. I've got a few questions that have never been answered to my satisfaction.
Oh, really?
Really? About your so-called pregnancy? What's going on with you, Beth?
You're still shivering.
Yeah, well, ever since Alistair Crane stopped by to talk to us, I mean, it's like a cold wind went right through me.
All that money and the guy hardly seems human. You know, let's go get some hot chocolate. That'll warm you up.
Okay.
If they only knew just how cold I can be. Ask Julian and Eve. I know where their long-lost son is, but that little tidbit stays with me until I've decimated everyone who dares to cross me.
Oh, my God. Dear God, what has Eve seen?
Sheridan! Something's wrong, Sheridan. I'll take care of it.
What has Alistair done? Oh, my God, she looks terrible. What have you done to her?
I can assure you my patient is quite fine.
Fine. She looks like she's half dead, and why is she in restraints? What kind of psychotherapy have you been subjecting her to?
I hardly owe you an explanation, Dr. Russell. In case you've forgotten, I am head of psychiatry at this hospital. My methods are entirely appropriate, sound, and moreover, none of your business. Oh, and just for the record, I have not received one word of complaint from the patient's husband or her father.
She's so pale. Why is she unconscious? What the hell have you done to her this time, Ackland?
Nobody told me that her treatment involved restraints.
Well, Dr. Ackland, it looks like the patient's husband is not quite as on board with your dubious therapy methods as you claim.
Now do you believe me, Eve? This is why I had to get you down here tonight.
I want the patient transferred out of the psychiatric ward immediately.
I'm afraid that's impossible without consent of the next of kin.
Tell him, Antonio. Tell him you want Sheridan transferred out of here immediately so she doesn't have to undergo any more of this guy's treatments. Tell him, damn it. Antonio, if you love Sheridan half as much as you say you do, then get her out of this damn torture chamber.
I would hold the hand of the one who could lead me places and kiss the lips of the one who could sing so sweet. And I would fly on the wings of the bird I knew could take me high as breathe in, breathe out. You keep me alive. You are the fire burning inside of me. You are my passion for life.
What's the real deal here? Okay, are you seeing Dr. Culver in hopes of getting pregnant? Or is it just to dig up dirt on Beth Wallace?
Why does it have to be just one or the other? It's both, okay? Honey, I want to get pregnant again as soon as possible. But what harm could it possibly do to just ask the doctor a few questions about Beth's home delivery at the same time?
I just think you're grasping at straws here.
The same way you think Sheridan is because she refuses to stop believing Beth's baby is hers.
Maybe.
No. No. Honey, I have had my suspicions about Beth for as long as I can remember now, even before she, was supposedly pregnant by Louise. Honey, do you remember she could not even answer the simplest questions about prenatal care?
Yes, but she explained all that. Okay, she said she hadn't been able to afford a doctor.
And did Beth ever hear of a free clinic? No, Ethan, that is no excuse. Right, and then as soon as I get on her case, all of a sudden she's having regular appointments with some renowned obstetrician, or so she says. Honey, I think that this guy could be the key to this whole thing.
Well, just don't be disappointed if all your suspicions turn out to be unfounded, okay?
Well, I won't be, because I don't think it's going to pan out that way. I really, really think Beth is lying. And it wouldn't surprise me if Beth was never pregnant.
Really, Dr. Culver, I don't know what you're talking about.
You know damn well what I'm talking about. We discussed this before. You showed up in my waiting room one day looking quite pregnant when only a few months earlier at your annual exam you most certainly were not with child.
Well, there's plenty of women that get huge long before they're going to deliver their babies.
Baby, Miss Wallace, or the sack of sugar you were wearing around your waist to make you look pregnant? What kind of twisted stunt are you trying to pull off?
You're still shivering. Maybe we should go.
Oh, no. I'm kind of liking it out here. The air is... it's refreshing. Besides, I'm afraid wherever we go, I'm going to run into my mother and Julian again, and I can't take that.
Well, I thought you said your mother's going back to the hospital.
Oh, yeah, that's what you said. But who knows what I should really believe anymore.
Your mother's the last person I expected to ever shake your faith.
You're right. I guess that's probably why it's hitting me so hard. I mean, it was only a couple of months ago we had this great big heart-to-heart. And I actually thought that we were becoming friends again.
Well, maybe you can get that back.
After seeing my mother in Julian's arms I don't know how many times? No, I don't think so. And the worst part was when I saw my mother hiding in the solarium while Julian was lying straight to my father's face. You know what? I don't know what I would do if I ever caught them together again.
Yeah, Whitney, you don't mean that.
No, yes, I do. I'm not going to be responsible for my actions.
The night's still young, my dear. I'm quite certain you'll be running into your mother and Julian again. If not by accident, I'll see to it.
Louise, you can go now. I'll take care of my wife.
Oh, and you've done a hell of a job of it so far, haven't you? I'm not leaving her here like this.
No, Mas. This is not the time nor the place for you two to argue.
Luis, your mother is right. Just step aside. Come on, step aside. At this point in time, Antonio is the only person who's responsible for Sheridan's care.
I'm not leaving Sheridan's side.
Luis, do it for Sheridan.
All right. I'm telling you, Antonio, you get Sheridan out of here. This isn't right.
Her condition is deplorable. When we get Sheridan out of the psychiatric department, I will oversee her care.
Well, who said she's leaving the psych ward? I mean, under whose authority do you propose such a move?
I've been her doctor for years.
Well, I hate to pull rank, Dr. Russell, but I'm also her physician, and you have no jurisdiction over my patients or their treatment programs. This woman was brought to me because she needs help finding her way back to reality.
And the people who love her can help her do that.
Would that it were that simple, Dr. Russell. The woman still believes that her dead child is alive. This is a severe delusion that we've been working on very intensively.
Huh. How? By practically killing her?
That I don't see the need for wild exaggeration from a professional, Dr. Russell. Are you trying to scare the family?
What kind of treatment have you been giving her?
Don't even ask him, all right? You just get her the hell out of here.
Doctor, she looks a hell of a lot worse than when I first admitted her.
That's true. And that's exactly why I didn't want any of you seeing her quite yet. I realized that to a layman's eyes, it could seem that your wife's condition is deteriorating.
I am hardly a layman, Dr. Ackland.
Which is exactly why you, of all people, should not make snap judgments without an entire picture of the situation, Dr. Russell. I implore you, please do not listen to your brother or Dr. Russell's overly emotional admonitions. Your wife's therapy is progressing very well.
Yeah, but this is just so hard to see.
Fair enough, but you can take my word for it. And please, I have to warn you, if her therapy is interrupted, as is being suggested, she could suffer a relapse, leaving her more confused than she was when she was brought in here.
So I don't buy that for a second.
Well, then, it's good that I'm the physician in charge of the case then, isn't it, Dr. Russell, rather than you. If your wife is taken from my care, she may never recover, much less realize that her baby is gone, or some of the other facts in her life, where she lives, who she is, even who she's married to.
All I want is for her to have some quiet time away from your brother so she can come to her senses on her own. Mark my words, when it's time for her release, it's you she'll come home to, not your disloyal, manipulative brother.
Sheridan will remain in Dr. Ackland's care.
Antonio, what?
What the hell is wrong with you?
What's important here is not any of our feelings, but Sheridan's well-being. So if this is the best way for her to recover, then she will remain in Dr. Ackland's care.
Good news, Mrs. Winthrop. The doctor says you can go home tonight.
Hey,
Oh, that is wonderful. I will get dressed right away
I
then.
can't wait to get you back home.
Oh, me neither. But honey, there's just one stop I would like to make along the way, okay?
Sure, where to?
It's a surprise. Just trust me.
Oh, okay, but if it has anything to do with Beth Wallace, I am...
Nope, not this time. But you have to admit, there's definitely something a little strange about her.
Honey, honestly, I've never noticed it. I'm sorry, but every time I've seen her, she's been perfectly normal, whether in the book cafe or in any social situation.
Ethan, she tried to kill me more than once.
You have no proof of that.
Not yet, but I intend to get it. And listen to me, okay? It all makes sense if you just accept the premise that the baby that Beth is trying to pass off as hers and Luis's is really Sheridan's.
Honey, as much as I love Sheridan, I don't buy it. Neither does Luis. And frankly, I'm surprised that you're giving Sheridan's fantasy any credence whatsoever.
Just think about it, okay? Both babies were presumably born at the same time. Nobody's ever found the body of Sheridan's infant, and more than that, Beth's baby has bonded in the most incredible way to Sheridan and vice versa. He won't even eat unless she's nursing him. Now, how do you explain that?
I don't know. I'm a lawyer. I'm not a doctor.
If Beth is hiding something about her baby, then I intend to find out what it is, which is why my appointment with Dr. Culver is so important. Okay?
Okay.
So, would you mind getting me my coat? I think it's in a closet in the hall or something.
No problem.
Thank you.
Well, your nurse must have me confused with one of your other patients.
Not a chance. She's quite certain it was you who walked into my waiting room wearing pounds of sugar around your middle. What on earth were you thinking?
You know what? I gotta get going, Dr. Culver.
Dr. Calder. Ethan Winthrop.
Oh, yes, of course.
My wife has an appointment with you tomorrow.
Well, I look forward to speaking with her.
As a matter of fact, she's about to be discharged. If you have a minute, she would love to have a word with you.
Fine. I'll be right here.
Great. Thank you.
Sure. Oh, Miss Wallace!
I really have to run, Doctor.
What a shame. I'm about to speak to a friend of yours, Gwen Winthrop. I wouldn't be at all surprised if your name came up.
Are you out of your mind? Look at her, Antonio. She looks half dead thanks to this so-called therapy that she's been getting. You say you love her.
I do love her with every cell in my body.
Yeah.
And as her husband, I know what's best for my wife.
Now, that's enough.
Antonio, I understand your conflict. But I am Sheridan's physician, and I have been so for a while. You know I only have her best interest at heart. I don't know what is going on with Dr. Ackland.
I'm treating a very sick patient is what is going on, Dr. Russell, and I resent your implications to the contrary.
I can only imagine how difficult this must be for you, Antonio. Finding out that your brother and Sheridan were in love and were planning to be married.
don't care what anybody else thinks. I know Sheridan loves me just as much as she's ever loved anyone, including Luis.
And that may well be. But it's not that simple. In fact, that may be part of the reason why Sheridan's been so confused and so conflicted. I mean, just imagine what it feels like for her to be in love with two men at the same time. It must tear at her very soul. I can't envision anything more impossible or tragic, knowing that choosing one man will surely break the heart of the other. No wonder she became so drained and finally just gave up. She couldn't deal with the untenable situation for even one more day. You know, people who say that you can't love more than one person at a time are wrong. They're just wrong.
She's coming too. Thank goodness.
Antonio, please tell Dr. Ackland that you want this therapy stopped. Let me take her back into the hospital proper and oversee her care and monitor her closely myself.
Antonio's already made his decision, Dr. Russell.
It's not too late for him to change his mind. Antonio, listen to me. And nobody but you knows what your real motives are. But let me ask you a question. If Luis were not part of the mix, and if you weren't concerned about who Sheridan would choose when she regained consciousness, what would you do to help Sheridan then?
You are my passion for life.
It's too bad you can't stick around. I gather Gwen Winthrop has some questions about you.
Well, I don't know about what, but I can't stay, okay? I gotta run, Doctor.
Well, then I'll just do my best to tell the woman whatever she wants to know on my own. Well, it's an emergency.
Huh. What do you know? I was just gonna ask Dr. Culver some questions about you, Beth.
Well, I'm afraid they're going to have to wait, Mrs. Winthrop. I have a patient down the hall in distress. If you'll excuse me.
Yeah, and I was just gonna go.
Yeah, why am I not surprised?
Really, Gwen, it seems like you'd have much more on your mind than giving me a hard time.
Yeah, you're right, Beth. You know, at the top of my list is getting my best friend released from the psych ward as soon as possible.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna discharge Sheridan. She's obviously got a very loose grasp on reality, so...
Why, because she keeps insisting that your baby's hers? Well, we'll just see who has a loose grip when I'm finished with you, won't we, Beth? Let's go.
Antonio, if you're not gonna listen to me, then listen to Dr. Russell.
Luis, let your brother make up his own mind.
Antonio, I honestly think it's the best thing for Sheridan.
All right, then just do it. Just take her to a regular hospital. I just want her to get well.
Thank you, Antonio.
You're doing the right thing.
Doing the right thing for Sheridan, not for you, Luis.
This is insane. This woman should not be removed from psychiatric care. I intend to file a complaint with the Medical Review Board.
You do that, Dr. Ackland. Because I intend to take photos of your patient in her present state. I'm sure the board would be more than interested to see them.
Mr. Lopez Fitzgerald, I implore you.
Forget about it. From now on, Sheridan is in Dr. Russell's care. How long has she been under?
Well, it's very hard for me to tell. She's been very heavily sedated, so I think it'll be a few hours, maybe even all through the night before she's totally conscious.
I'll be right here by her side.
So will I.
No, you won't.
Okay, let's not do this. And when Sheridan is awake, I intend to put an end to this unbearable situation.
How, Eve?
When Sheridan's awake, we will both be in her room, and I will ask her to make a choice between you. That way we can put an end to all the questions and all the tension that everybody has been suffering through, especially Sheridan. Are you both in agreement with that?
Yeah. I am her husband.
You know, a woman's heart is a very delicate thing. She often loves so much that she doesn't handle it very well. And then she just has to pray that she's making the right decision.
Yes, Dr. Ackland.
Bad news, sir. Luis and Dr. Russell managed to convince Antonio to move Sheridan to the hospital proper. I tried to stop them, but...
My son Julian was there as well, I assume.
Yeah, I guess.
Don't worry about Sheridan right now, Dr. Ackland. I've got things in play that will stop anyone who gets in my way.
Here, take my jacket.
Oh,
You've got a blanket in the car. We can wrap ourselves in.
Hurry back. Why can't anything be easy? Why does everything have to be so complicated?
Get out of my way,
How many
Craig.
times do I have
I
to?
told you to shut
What are
your
you going to do,
mouth.
attack me again? That won't change the fact that your wife is not here.
You're a liar.
Don't bother, Daddy. She's not here.
What?
Mom's not here.
How do you know that?
Because I'm the one who borrowed the car.
Mr. Crane, I thought you left.
I'm just enjoying the cool sea air. Having a nice time with Whitney Russell?
What's it to you?
Well, she seems like such a nice young girl.
I can't take your money, Mr. Crane. No, you don't even know me.
I like a young man with pride, but it's not really for you. Use it to wine and dine your sweetheart over there. Isn't tomorrow Valentine's Day?
Well, yeah, but I'm not
Well,
gonna...
then treat your young lady to a special time. I'm sure it'll mean the world to her.
I don't understand. I mean, you barely know Whitney.
It's on behalf of her mother, Dr. Russell. She's done so much good for the people of Harmony. I know she'd like nothing more than to see her daughter being treated well by her young man. Go ahead. Take it. Make a lonely old man happy.
Well, all right. But it's just a loan. I'm gonna pay you back as soon as I can.
All right, so what is this big surprise you wanted me to see before we go home?
it is right here.
Oh, God. They're amazing. Hey, you sure you want to be here?
Yeah. You know, we'll be back here soon enough with our own new baby.
That's right. You know, honey, I'm gonna try to be the best father I can be. There were so many things I wanted to do with Sarah. You know, like teach her and show her.
Oh, honey, and you would have been. Is it possible to miss something that you never had?
I don't know, but I do.
Do you understand that this is why I have to help Sheridan? You know, sweetie, even if it's just a 1 in a million chance that her baby is still alive, you know, we have to try and prove it and get him back to her. You know, maybe if that happens, it might be like a little part of Sarah's back here with us.
You're like a mother lion sometimes, you know that?
I just really hate seeing people separated who should be together. You know, like mothers and their babies and people who are in love, like Luis and Sheridan. I just really hope that at the end of this terrible time that they can find their way back to each other.
Whoa, whoa. Sheridan doesn't need everyone crowding around her while we're trying to get her settled.
He's right. Everyone should just wait out here. I don't want Sheridan to feel overwhelmed.
How long do you think Sheridan's gonna have to stay in the hospital, Dr. Russell? Because I want to get her home as soon as possible.
Oh, not so fast, Antonio. to see when Sheridan wakes up how strong she feels, both physically and emotionally.
Sure, she'll feel a lot better once she makes a choice between me or Luis. It's him hounding her all the time. That's what's got her unraveled like this in the first place.
Well, we'll see. But the important thing is that when Sheridan's awake and she's strong enough that she makes her own decision once and for all.
Well, I've got some of her clothes in the car. I'm gonna go down and get them. So when she's ready to go home, she'll have everything she needs.
How's she doing?
She's resting comfortably. But like I said, you know, she's probably not going to regain consciousness before tomorrow, so you might as well go home and get some sleep. You can come and see her later.
Well, I'm not leaving till I see her. Look, even if Sheridan isn't awake, she's just gonna feel better knowing that I'm there.
All right, well, just make it short, okay? Because your brother is going to be back in a minute.
Well, Antonio's just gonna have to accept the fact that as soon as Sheridan is awake, she's gonna pick me over him. And now I'm the one who's been sneaking in here to see her, the one who's been with her. And look, the point is that Sheridan and I are meant to be together. And the sooner Antonio accepts that, the sooner we can all get our lives back to normal.
Okay, Luis, just make it quick, okay? And don't argue with Antonio, please. I'm sure that Sheridan can sense it even under sedation.
Eve, can I go in too?
Of course, Pilar.
You know, earlier when you were saying that a woman could love more than one man, were you talking about my sister and the brothers Lopez Fitzgerald, or are you and me, TC?
I could really use some fresh air, Julian.
I promise you no one's ever gonna keep us apart again. That's right, I'm right here, Sheridan.
What am I gonna do? Try to kill Gwen again? She's like a cat with 9 lives. How am I supposed to make sure that she dies next time? Maybe I don't have to kill her. My Dr. Culver never saw me with that bag of sugar. He just heard about it through that busybody nurse of his. So he doesn't even know whether or not I had a baby. I don't even know why I'm so worried. There's nothing that he can tell Gwen about me that's gonna get me in trouble. Okay.
Did you happen to see the Winthrop couple, nurse?
Yes, I think that they had to leave. Do you want me to see if I can catch up to them in the parking lot?
No, it's all right. I'll speak to them tomorrow about Beth Wallace.
That's the woman whose newborn almost died recently from dehydration.
She has a baby?
Yes. She had it just a couple months ago.
Oh, you know, I think I'm just one of those women who's wanted to be a mother as long as I can remember.
You are gonna be terrific. Well, you know what they say. Once you become parents, your lives are never the same.
Well, I am not worried. I think it's gonna make our lives even more wonderful.
Yeah, busy too if you start up on those fertility drugs.
Yeah, well, the more children, the merrier. Maybe Sheridan will have her baby back by then and, you know, our kids can play together.
We'll see.
Luis, mijo, we've been here long enough. Antonio could come back any minute.
So what? Sheridan will want me here when she wakes up.
Luis, please, you will see her soon enough. Eve doesn't want you and Antonio fighting in front of her anymore.
All right. I'll leave, okay? But for Sheridan's sake, I don't give a damn about what Antonio thinks. He's got to get used to the fact that I'm not spending the rest of my life with Sheridan.
Come, hurry. Oh, God, it's too late.
Thanks for getting me out of the hospital for a few minutes, Julian. It's been such a dreadful day.
You still haven't answered my question. When you were talking earlier about Sheridan loving two different men, it sounded to me like it was coming from a more personal place. Is it possible that you really do still love me?
Yes, Julian. I do, but it doesn't mean that I don't love TC. Because I do. He's my husband, and we have a family together.
No.
A life together.
I understand. It's just the fact that you have feelings for me means everything. I only want you to be happy.
Well, I could almost be happy if it weren't for knowing that Whitney hates me. And combine that with the fact that your father's never going to tell us where our son is. I don't know if I can bear it. I hate to say this, Julian, but your father is a monster. I wonder what he'll do to punish us next.
Enjoy the money, son. Splurge on your pretty girlfriend, Whitney.
Like I said, Mr. Crane, this is just a loan. There you go.
Oh. Thank you.
Is that better?
Yeah.
You know, you must be starving. How about we go catch a late dinner? Go somewhere cozy where we can warm up.
Sure. Yeah, any place you like, as long as I don't run into my mother. I think I'll be fine. Okay. You have got to be kidding me. Haven't you cheated on my father with Julian enough for one night?
Whitney, please just let me explain.
Explain? What's to explain, Mom? You're having an affair with Julian Crane and you're lying through your teeth about it.
That is not true. I told you...
Oh, no, like I'm gonna believe anything you have to say? Just forget it. Every time I turn around, I see the two of you guys. All your words don't mean anything because I'm gonna believe what I see with my own eyes. And my mom, you're nothing but a common whore, is what you are. Wait.
Don't say that about your mother.
Oh, that's nothing compared to what my father's gonna call her when he hears the truth. Come on, baby.
Whitney,
No.
Whitney, please.
No.
Whitney.
Let it go. Only make things worse.
She's got it all wrong. God, I can't believe that wherever we go, we run into her. It's almost like someone is setting us up on purpose.
Well. Maybe these little run-intos aren't Whitney's fault. Maybe if the not-so-good Dr. Russell stayed at home with her family, you wouldn't have this problem.
You did this. You sent Whitney here where you thought that Julian and I might take a walk.
Oh, please, you act as though I've got some sort of sixth sense.
I wouldn't put it past you.
Oh, another country heard from. My wastrel son who suddenly sprouted guts in his middle years. I don't have time to send your daughter all over Harmony in the hopes that she'll run into you two sorry lovers. I've got bigger plans for the two of you.
Like what?
As if I'd give you any warning. Just know, be very certain, that by the time I'm through with the two of you, you'll both wish you'd never been born, much less fallen in love.
Uh-huh. Okay, well, you can stop gloating, Mother. Because I don't care if Gwen goes to her appointment with Dr. Culver tomorrow. Okay? Because he does not have fact one about me and my pregnancy, or little Martin for that matter.
You're quite sure Ms. Wallace has a baby?
Yes. He got very sick, almost died. I remember she was very possessive about him. Not that I blame her.
Thank you, nurse.
Mm-hmm.
She couldn't have gotten pregnant and given birth in such a short period of time.
Honey, do you honestly believe that there's a chance that Beth's baby is really Sheridan's?
Honey, if Sheridan says he is, then that's enough for me. Okay, and I have a feeling that once I talk to Dr. Culver, I will finally be able to prove it. And Sheridan and her little boy will be reunited.
Luis, your brother's coming. Now you have to hide before he sees you in
Oh,
here.
come on, it's ridiculous. I'm not gonna act like I'm doing something wrong here.
Luis, if Antonio sees you in here, you know you are going to have an ugly confrontation. Por favor, Luis.
Dr. Russell asked me to have you sign these papers regarding your wife's transfer to this floor.
Sure.
Luis, let's go before he sees you in here.
All right, all right. I'm telling you, I don't like all this sneaking around.
Thank you.
Sheridan, we have so much going for us. I just hope that you choose our marriage over your past with Luis. We can put all of the bad things behind us. Begin our lives. Just like we always talked about. Where does he get off thinking his love for Sheridan's stronger than mine? Once she comes to, he's gonna have to face the facts that he's gonna be alone for good.
Please don't let my sons wind up hating each other.
If you won't keep quiet, then we'll keep you quiet.
Me?
Posse! Attack!
Oh, it's in the air.
Yeah, and it stinks.
Who sent you a dozen roses on Valentine's Day?
If Sheridan's love for Luis isn't dead, she will be.
NBC Tonight on an all-new Apprentice. It's their biggest task yet, a star-studded charity auction.
Hello, come on in.
Each team must convince 5 celebrities to give till it hurts.
I was a virgin on prom night to those kids.
Plus, it's finally happened. There's romance in the house, and you'll never guess who. All leading to the most intense backstabbing yet.
You were rude. You are rude. You're fired.
An all-new Apprentice. NBC Tonight after an all-new Friends. Go to NBC.com.